I don't think AI falls in tech. It's like in the more strategic side using AI. And coders should be afraid. Like
Yeah.
us people should be very afraid of that change. It's not a small change. It's a significant change.
The difference between the development of the product and then the domain expert or non-technical person, what they can build is getting smaller and smaller, right?
Actually, AI is very close to COVID if you think about it. Like one of the banks sent me a message. They have a Gen Z savings account now.
Yeah.
What Gen Z
I mean, like
savings
it would be
account?
very interesting to understand what could have been the conversation around naming that account. Like okay, so episode number 4 of Post AI Nation. Welcome, Punita. Welcome back.
Thank
I
you,
spent the
thank you,
last
thank you.
episode without you. You're
Yeah, how
busy
did it feel?
with family affairs. No, I mean,
Mm.
like this is what I've realized in the process. Like let's say there is a personality that goes when I am solo, and there is a personality that comes out when both of us are doing the podcast together.
Mhm.
So I was missing that. So
Yeah.
that was my that was my reflection after after the podcast. In some
Mhm.
sense, I pretty much went back to the initial podcast that I did myself alone. But it's okay. I think with Avinash Dai and Precious Dai, it was a good conversation. But then yeah, like very happy to have you back again. How are you doing? Of course, just as a disclaimer for audience, all of these initiatives that we are doing with Post AI Nation is for the conversations that are there in the ecosystem. Obviously, there are amazing work being done in Nepal about around AI, but then the conversations are not enough. They're not happening at a pace that it needs to be happening, and then the community needs to come together. Whenever we go out to other countries, we see things are moving at a totally different pace, and then we cannot be content with just doing stuff that we're doing right now. So that's our effort and our contribution to the community as well. So yeah, with saying that, how are you doing? How was the past few weeks already now?
Mhm.
How are you doing in general?
Mm, it's good. So I think it's been stressful to tell you the truth because so much happened, right? So many life changes, personally, professionally, and especially stepping into the role of CEO at Program is in the last 8 months.
Yeah.
Uh, I've spent the last 2 weeks kind of reflecting on what was achieved, what were the hits, what were the misses, and what's the path ahead, especially in relation to like where the world will go with AI and where coding will go with AI more specifically, right? So yeah, so lots of reflection, lots of strategic uh, brainstorming,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is hard, which is the hardest part of building a
Yeah.
business, I guess,
Yeah.
because and then I was having this conversation with one of my like senior engineers, right? And he said something very interesting. He said that leadership in technology is very different from leadership in fields like marketing, design, product management, and strategy,
Okay.
because you have to be a certain kind of person to lead in marketing,
Yeah.
right? Like versus tech, for example. So it also made me think AI is also a lot in the second category, right? I don't think AI falls in tech. It's like in the more strategic side using AI.
I mean, if framing AI does not fall into tech, it could be a very touchy topic to a really large population as well. But then I really think it is a zone of its own. I think it does not the traditional tech skills and the traditional tech workflows and the way of workings does not really translate so easily into this AI's ecosystem and then the world that we are headed. So yeah, I agree to that.
So for example, you have a problem, a business problem that needs to be solved with tech, right?
Yeah.
Obviously there is a degree of uncertainty around it, all of that. uh, but you don't have failure as a guarantee to the point, like to the extent that you have a failure of guarantee in marketing strategy, design. So failure is built into, not just built but completely ingrained in these domains.
Hmm.
And because failure is also ingrained, creativity is also ingrained,
Hmm.
right? Because creativity is what brings you out from failure and gives you the energy to keep on trying new things. So there's a lot more experimentation, there's a lot more failing in these areas, compared to, at least tech in the sense that we know it, which is like you have a database and then you're putting stuff into the database, you're taking stuff out of the data. There's obviously some domains of tech where the same level of creativity that I'm talking about in marketing and design are required
Yeah.
even in tech, right? In hardware design, it's like, because once it ships, right?
Yeah.
So there are some places where yes, that level of strategic thinking, risk taking, constant failure is required, but that is more so required in some other areas. This is something that someone told me, and the conversation we were having was around technical leadership is different from strategic leadership.
Yeah. And probably AI leadership is very different as well.
And yeah, yeah, and the question now becomes, is AI technical leadership or more strategic? Does AI leadership lean towards technical leadership or strategic leadership, right? And my feeling is it leans more towards strategic leadership. It is closer to marketing than tech, in the sense that the way you approach a problem with AI feels more like putting together a marketing campaign than building some technology,
Hmm.
because of the risks attached, because of the way you need to understand the business uh, better, right?
Hmm.
Anyways, so just high level thoughts on like,
No, no, I think it becomes very interesting because, like, right now when we are going and upskilling people, and right now we are actively involved in cohorts where there are technical people as well, non-technical people as well, and then the nuances of what people talk within each other, we see everything changing. And then the other bigger thing that we have seen in this process is that uh, technical cohorts coming into AI leadership or AI technology building, and non-technical people coming into AI technology building. Uh, we can't really say who is good at it at this point of time. You know,
yeah,
so I think, and especially when we look at larger organizations, like organizations that have maybe 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 4,000 employees over there, it is a big shift, there are some big questions these organizations are asking. Who is the right person to lead the AI adoption journey, right? Is it my software engineer who's been there with me for 20 years, senior software engineer? Is it my data scientist? Is it my L&D person? Is it my innovation person? Is it my marketing person? Those kind of questions are active questions that boards around large organizations are asking right now. And there is no right answer to it. And then I think when you say AI leadership is more strategic leadership, that makes a lot of sense, because when we think of AI, to really leverage a lot out of AI in today's time, as of December 2025, I think we'll have to think in terms of workflows more and technology afterwards. So,
yeah,
and when we think of workflows first, then what ends up happening is that you're thinking of business first and strategy first, and then breaking down where you are starting to build a new kind of ecosystem where AI systems operate as well, where some people operate as well, and how all of those things are connected. And then it just becomes a very, very high level thinking of how the cognitive environment of any organization is evolving as such. So that's the general, reflections that we've been having as we are skilling workforce in the post AI world. So I really resonate to that thought. I really didn't think of it from the point of view of like tech leadership or strategic leadership. But then if we make a spectrum over there, I definitely think the strategic area is a lot more dominant, at least till today, till the time like the multiple stacks are not built up, and then it does not become yet an engineering problem in a lot of sense. So it's still a strategy problem. Yeah.
And I think it's also a luxury that AI is now a strategic leadership thing.
Mhm.
For before Gen AI and before AI was available as an API through OpenAI keys and Gemini and or cloud, through these kind of open weight models, whatever you want to call them, right? AI was a technical problem.
Yeah.
You needed a company like Fuse Machines to solve an AI problem, or you needed extreme domain AI domain expertise, technical expertise to solve an AI problem. Now, with like almost the business layer, now that we can write business logic in business language.
Mhm. Mhm.
Before there was this huge translation needed, right, from business logic to coding logic.
Yeah.
And I remember I did a project when I was in Noida. It was very interesting actually.
Okay. Okay.
The thesis was very important, and it was such a modern thesis when I think about it now. What they said was, the client said was, uh, what we call a controller in code, right? That should not have any business logic.
Mhm.
It should just trigger a file in written in the R programming language.
Mhm.
Right? So all the business logic had to be in R,
Okay.
and Java was only kind of the web app wrapper behind the R, right? So Java would send data to R, R would process the data and send it back to Java. So all the business logic was in the R programming language,
Okay.
and then there were domain experts in the client side who knew only R.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they could literally plug in the an R file and
Yeah.
have a different set of insights from the same data,
Mhm. Okay.
right? And I did not understand the implication of this kind of a kind of separation between business logic and application logic at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But now, if you think about it, that's what AI has done. That R file is AI,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
instead of it being in a domain specific programming language like R,
Yeah.
it is now in English,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's such a fascinating thing and this was in 2014.
Yeah.
So imagine how ahead people were, like
Yeah.
those people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just astounding to me that something I built without thinking too much, under the guidance of a modern thinking, like forward thinking client, was actually hinting towards the separation of like application logic and business logic, and business people being able to write the business logic themselves without having to need a technical person to do the translation from I want this data to be transformed in this way.
Yeah.
uh, that had to be converted to if statements and for loops and all the technical mumbo jumbo, right?
Yeah.
So it's really liberated the business person from the and coders should be afraid. Like the
Yeah.
us people should be very afraid of that. It's not a small change. It's a significant change.
No, I
Uh,
think when we are building technology and when we are solving business problems, and what you said is is really interesting also from the point of view of what we are seeing on the ground right now, right? So let's say let's take an example of a domain expert who does not have a technical background, and once has some ideas about technology, and then they have a thought process about technology. If they were at step one before AI came, now they are meeting the technical people at a lot higher ground, and then the difference between the development of the product and then the domain expert or non-technical person, uh, what they can build is getting smaller and smaller, right? As of today, we are still not at a place where non-technical people can deploy, maintain, have all the security for tech products, and run a self-directed process yet. But then I clearly see that the gap between what they could build and what they have in their mind, the gap is going very like the gap is growing very smaller, and then there is a very clear like ladder sort of that they are already climbing, they are able to do prototype, they are able to write business logics on AI tools, and I think it's just a matter of time. I think it's just a matter of time when but there will be some tools that will enable them to build a secure platform or a deployable platform, a platform which can function end to end without the need of a technical person. And then it's very interesting uh, how the technical cohorts will adapt at that point of time. And again, the big question that we have discussed in multiple episodes, that for a country like Nepal, where there is so much of dev work that is being done for US clients or foreign clients, what happens to that industry in general, right? So I think I asked this question last time to Prashant and Avinash Dai as well. But then there is a big question to be asked, because I clearly see there is a lot of development for the non-technical people to move in that direction.
Right. But let me make take this example to the extreme. Right.
Yeah.
So some very big political event happened in India recently where the Indian government said, I reject the WHO AQI, like pollution ratings and all that.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Now imagine now try to imagine a system that kind of has the red, green, yellow. There's a bulb somewhere in Delhi
Yeah. Yeah.
that had this business logic, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, okay, if AQI is greater than
Yeah.
whatever, small, less than X, green, between X, Y and Z, yellow, and something greater than something red, right? Now imagine this business logic now becomes a prompt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now basically some person in the department of
Yeah.
weather in India
Yeah.
has plugged that prompt into that system, right?
Yeah.
Now some political changes comes in, and they say, okay, we now the number changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, before, it was a technical problem, right? Somebody had to go into the system, change the logic, redeploy the code,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
But now, because the business logic is being implemented as a dynamic prompt,
Mhm.
the policymaker can go and change the prompt, and immediately it will. So it's also a way of dynamically injecting business data into the application logic. That's how I see the AI piece, is like liberation from if else and for loops and the structures,
Yeah.
and the object oriented programming, like
Yeah. Yeah.
these structures of the past were they were deterministic. That's the good part. But because they were deterministic, they also were rigid in some ways, right? So this is the part of AI, like this is the flavor of AI that I am personally most
Yeah.
excited by.
Yeah.
Is And then we are already building some interfaces. I'll give you an example where, for example, we had to build an auto organizer of sorts,
Okay.
right? Where, like, you have 100 files,
Yeah.
right? They might be of different types,
Yeah.
and then we had to organize them into folders.
Mhm.
Now, in the previous kind of pre-AI world, there would be a rigid logic that maybe looked at the extension and said, okay, these are PDFs, these are videos, these are audios, all of that. But what we did was, we gave the user the ability to define the prompts that does the organization. So
Okay.
you define the different types of folders you want
Yeah.
in plain English.
Yeah.
We dynamically inject those prompts, right? And then if you want a different organization, you can just go and change the prompts, right? This kind of application logic, or this kind of liberation for the business user, was never possible pre generative AI.
Yeah.
And a lot of applications will adopt this approach. We have this approach in Redoc Video as well,
Yeah.
where kind of, for example, you have a transcript of a video, right?
Yeah.
And then we kind of put in a summarization
Mhm.
feature.
Yeah.
And then the summarization was kind of time based.
Mhm.
So it would kind of start from the first paragraph, then the second paragraph, then the third paragraph.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then some customers started asking for thematic summarization, where if the same idea is discussed at the start and the end, those get clubbed together, right? That was thematic or topic. We call them topic based summaries.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people said, you know what, time based and thematic based are too rigid.
Yeah.
I want to be able to give you the summarization logic.
Yeah.
I want to be able to ask the transcript a set of my own custom questions,
Mhm.
and have. So we created something called custom summaries,
Yeah.
where the user can input their prompt, and based on that prompt, the summaries will be generated,
Mhm.
right? So this kind of interface, where the business user is able to tell the software exactly how they want the output, what kind of processing they want the output, this is going to be such a, like, crazy thing for the business user. It's going to really liberate the business user from the dirty hands of the techies. in,
And I think the most crucial part in that too, for it to be a very mainstream reality, is the infrastructure that is needed for that sort of communication to happen. Because right now, still it is promised more than widespread execution right now. So there is a lot of infrastructure that has to be built for a lot of applications to form that way, right? So when we look at this, and when we come to programmers, because like we're discussing offline, that we could probably discuss on how a platform that has almost been there for more than a decade, post AI world, where the core idea of its way it is as a platform, and the core idea of its delivery, like in terms of coding as an education, right?
Yeah.
That is getting challenged. And then when you say techies should be very afraid of this change that is happening, of business logic translating very very easily with natural language, how is the team adapting in general? Because we've had multiple conversations, and I've seen a lot of different kinds of conversation evolving through the last 8 9 months in programming itself. But then how do you see it right now? And I think probably more interesting as well, because there is a larger team, right? There's a larger team in programmers that is going through this process. Like how is the change management, how is the team taking that change management in general?
That's an interesting question, and for a long time, I'll have to admit that we froze. Right. We just, we did not know what to do.
Yeah.
And the reason why we feel that we did not know what to do is, when you say coding plus AI, it can mean 10 different things, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just give you one example where kind of AI replaces the business logic,
Yeah.
but still it's still embedded within the code, right? So this is one implementation of AI. But there's other flavors of AI, like vibe coding, with which almost, and there's degrees of vibe coding as well, right?
Yeah.
There's one flavor of vibe coding which still generates the code.
Yeah.
There's another flavor of vibe coding that directly generates the app.
Yeah.
uh, then there is prompt engineering,
Yeah.
right? There's co-pilots, there's agents, there's MCPs. So what does coding and AI mean, or what does software development plus AI mean? There's just so many flavors of it, because the space is evolving. Maybe some flavors will die out, some flavors will come forward.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even beyond software development, if you think about it,
Yeah.
uh, prototyping tools,
Yeah.
right? Image generation tools,
Yeah.
video generation, for example.
Yeah.
So there's just so many flavors of you. And then there's also, like, do you click and drag like n8n,
Yeah.
or do you write Python code, right? These are things that we've been, so we kind of froze. It's just everything was so new and everything was so sudden.
Yeah.
And then in terms of change management, we have actually very recently made big steps. What we realized is, I feel like you have to sometimes go to the past to respond to challenges of today, right? We really dug deep into what was the situation like in 2011.
Mhm.
Why did we start programmers.com?
Yeah.
And then upon reflecting, we realized that, there were few problems that we want to solve, which were, there was no one place to learn coding.
Yeah.
The information was scattered. There was no source that I could trust, right? Uh, Everybody was teaching coding in their own way,
Yeah.
all of that. And then we were like, huh, this feels familiar. I think you know where I'm going
Yeah.
at, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So, I think once we looked at the past and we looked at our motivations behind programmers.com and the
Yeah.
state of the world in 2011,
Yeah.
really the state of the world today is very similar if you replace coding with AI.
Yeah.
Is the information is fragmented. Nobody has kind of created a curriculum that makes sense, because there's so many flavors of AI. You are in this frozen state, right? Where to start, and like, what are the milestones?
Mhm.
And uh, and nobody, and just like we created kind of the structure around how to learn to code, I think
Mhm.
we have this unique opportunity to create, to be one of the first
Mhm.
to create the structure around learning AI, but
Okay.
obviously from a coding perspective, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
And then there's this massive opportunity. I think I used the wrong word, which is like when I said tech is should be afraid. There's also reason to be excited because literally every workflow in the world is going to have to be rewritten with AI,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then somebody still has to code the interface that accepts the prompt
Yeah.
and feeds the data to the like, very close to the R example I gave you, right? Somebody still needs to build the API wrapper that sends the data securely to
Yeah.
the prompt. Then once the prompt has done its job, you also need to explain to the prompt what is the format you want the output in, which we call like if I go deeper technically, we call it JSON schema, right? So there's a way to tell kind of OpenAI or the upstream AI providers what structure you want the output in, and giving a very clear structure of the output you want uh, makes the output 10 times better than just operating in English, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It because it helps the AI prompt to tokenize the data,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or like I don't know, deserialize, whatever you want to call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, point being, um, there are certain patterns
Mm-hmm.
that can help you integrate AI into workflows
Yeah.
using code,
Yeah.
and nobody is teaching those patterns right now in the
Mm-hmm.
right way.
Mm-hmm.
So actually see a huge potential
Mm-hmm.
into like there's a basic like how nobody's teaching really that there's a basic crowd applications with millions of data rows in a database,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then now we need to build kind of a conversational layer on top of it.
Yeah.
Where do you start?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nobody's teaching that.
Yeah.
Everybody's like showing off these fancy N8N workflows, right?
Yeah.
I did this, I automated the shit out of my job. All of these like kind of aspirational, wishy-washy. I don't know. Like sometimes these almost feel like scams. But then there's a lot of hype, right? But nobody's, and it's very similar to how coding was in 2011. Again, that there's a lot of hype, but there's not enough substance. I see this as a massive opportunity. Is how can we create? How can we help
Yeah.
developers do this
Yeah.
upgrade from regular coding using the structures of the past,
Yeah.
which are the ifs and the for loops and the while loops and the breaks and the continues and like kind of all of that to
Yeah.
this modern way of and sometimes you need the deterministic answers, right?
Yeah.
That is where the second workflow of having AI generate the business logic in code can work. Like you can prompt AI to generate the logic, but you can be very specific that are you getting my point? There's two ways. You can directly send the input data to the prompt and
Yeah.
get the output,
Yeah.
but you can also say that my data input data is in this format. This is the output I want. Write the deterministic logic for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you can plug that deterministic logic into the system, right? So it's all about and this is where I feel like AI leadership is close to strategic leadership, because this is not a technical decision. This is more of a strategic decision. Is what kind of environment am I operating in? Am
Yeah.
I okay with what level of hallucinations can I tolerate?
Yeah.
uh, what kind of openness to like if you're working in a fintech where like loans are being processed, would you want an AI prompt doing the calculations?
I would
I
not
don't
want an AI prompt to do calculation anyways. If-
know. But you know, you are aware of that, right? But I
yeah.
think a lot of men, a lot of a lot of technical people see AI as magic. Like you give it 5 plus 2 and it's always going to return 7. Yes, but if you give it 5.7851 you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like
I sometimes find this as, a restaurant which is like very spanky on the front, and the kitchen is horrible. Like if you see the kitchen, you would not really want
the
to eat.
toilet.
Exactly. You see that you didn't really don't want to eat there, but then you don't care because the food is tasty. So it's almost like that, because like on a probabilistic model, you would not really want to put your calculations and stuff like that. But coming back to what you just said, is very interesting. And when we are to navigate periods of uncertainty, like when we are right now, the first great thing that you mentioned is that we go back to our roots, we understand, and then it gives us a mental frame for us to navigate the current uncertainty. So which gives us a frame to understand things.
Yeah.
Uh, but do you think there is something missing? Like as you were narrating, like that piece was wonderful. What I was thinking was, uh, the archetype of this technology and its impact is so different. Is so different. What I mean by so different is that it is like coding an AI. The amount of people it is touching, the amount of problems it is touching, and the speed at which it is touching, and the way the conversation is shaping everything around AI. Do you think there has to be something else as well for people to really adapt and understand how to use AI, where to use AI, where to actually apply it? Because yes, technically there could be a lot of things where they would need a lot of models to understand, structures to fix. Uh, but then this like because I'm coming from the point of view of, what we see in the market, where people are trying to find wrap their heads around, like, how do I build this AI system, what AI do I need to give, because because on the ground the conversations are like, I need to show some AI to my board, or I need to show some AI to XYZ, and
Yeah.
then what is AI in my system, like that's where the market is, right? That's where I'm not the market, that's where the state of affairs in terms of where the large population of the world that is affected by AI is, right? So do you think there is something else as well
Yep,
in the AI
100%.
adoption?
And I can come to that. Like, uh, what I think, this is actually the conversation exact challenge I have as a CEO,
Mhm.
which is, AI is here.
Yeah,
We know, so the story goes like, okay, we go back to our roots.
yeah,
2011, we are seeing the same problems with AI.
yeah,
Now, as a CEO, do I call everyone to our meeting room and say, okay, from tomorrow we are AI
yeah,
first, or
yeah.
AI native, or whatever pyramid that you keep on blabbering about, right?
I went on a retreat for 4 days to just write about it. It's not a fun.
Anyway, so that is kind of how people are actually responding to AI.
Yeah,
Is there's this panic but there's a red
yeah,
panic button that the board is pressing,
yeah,
boards of all organizations are pressing,
yeah,
and it's going downstream,
yeah,
and it's really an alarm,
yeah,
right? The best metaphor for AI right now is an alarm.
yeah, yeah,
And then I was going to kind of press that alarm myself, but I think, as I said, it's been 8 months, right? So it's been very chaotic,
yeah,
and I was kind of feeling exhausted.
yeah,
And I think the fact that I was feeling exhausted turned out to be a good thing,
mhm,
because I started reflecting on, I'm not supposed to be exhausted.
yeah,
I am supposed to be enthusiastic, right? Why am I not excited by this?
yeah,
Or why am I like pressing the panic button? I am a technologist. I am in, and also because, I have kind of uh, lean on marketing, sales, that I've seen that side. I am the safest person from AI, right? I should not be pressing the
yeah,
panic button.
yeah,
Anyway, point being that I'm not going to press the panic button.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And before kind of jumping on this AI ship,
yeah,
I need to see this as a change management thing, just like you said,
yeah. It is a
right?
change.
It's just another change.
Yeah,
And then we started discussing, okay, if this is another change, whatever structure of change management we create, it should not just help with AI, it should help beyond AI as well.
yeah,
That means if there's political changes in the country, is there a change management framework we can look to,
mhm,
uh, that is the same as the change management framework that helps us with AI?
yeah,
Can the same change management framework help with other changes that will come in, the quantum for plus AI, for example, right? What happens when the encryption that we depend on breaks because of quantum?
yeah, yeah,
Or, for example, what if blockchain again becomes mainstream, right?
yeah,
Or what if a big competitor threatens our biggest revenue maker?
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
or there is change in the top leadership,
mhm,
what-
mhm,
right? So I think leaders of organizations need to think broader than just AI. The AI is not the last big change that we are going to face. AI is just one change, and the flavor of change is also changing every day, right? The way AI is impacting, or the scale at which we are learning so much every day. It's
yeah,
like COVID all over again, but in a different way, right? We are learning so much every day,
yeah,
and then you can press and obviously there's a time for panic, like just
yeah,
like with COVID, right?
yeah,
There was a time for panic when we did not know enough,
yeah,
or Wow, like actually AI is very close to COVID if you think about it. Like I mean, the journey, right, is like
Yeah,
you starts from panic. It
yeah,
starts from people getting laid off. It starts with all of this, and then slowly, like it's starting to normalize as we understand the thing better, right? And then just like with COVID, everything returned to normal. But it was a new normal,
you know, yeah,
uh, because we had seen that, right? I think it's very similar in the sense that in a few years we are going to be like, oh yeah, AI, yeah, it was a phase, like
yeah,
obviously it changed a lot of things. It changed our understanding of technology. It changed our understanding. It kind of, we will never forget the COVID days, right? Maybe we'll never forget the early AI days.
yeah, it is, yeah,
And but after it's over,
yeah,
we won't obviously obsess over it. Just like we don't, COVID almost never comes into the conversation now, right?
yeah.
So just with
I
that,
mean,
I think the
it's not that COVID has not come at different parts of the world after that, but then it does not affect in that sense for sure. But like like in my personal journey of seeing generative AI, especially from the time when OpenAI launched GPT on the platform. I clearly remember I was taking a class for MBA students, and then and it was very close to emerging technology, the curriculum, and then it came up, and then we did some work around the GPT at that point itself. And when I see on a very fundamental level, the technology has not actually changed a lot. The narrative has been some crazy stuff. But what is actually happening is that there is a way generative AI, all these foundation models are functioning, and then there is infrastructure being built on top of it, which is translating as use cases, and to generate any business logic to deliver value to people and try and do transfer of value. There is a new way that is emerging to do that. Apart from that, I don't see foundation models, like fundamentally changing. Yes, they have become better. They have become better at accuracy, reasoning. The hallucination has come down. All of that is happening, but then the fundamental of that is not changed. I think where a lot of people struggle, in my experience of being engaged in upskilling over the last 2.5 years, is that there is a lot of focus on the narrative and very less focus on understanding what this technology's core is. And then let's say if a new tool comes out, then okay, the core fundamental is translating into this new technology, and nothing else. Like there is, if you look at, let's say, a tool like N10, if you look at Zapier, if you look at Gumloop, if you look at Make, uh, different interpretations of a very similar kind of stuff. And there is a certain way in which you can use these foundation models while using these tools. Once you understand that, then it's pretty much like, okay, the same thing is like moving in different places, right? And then let's say, for example, when you're using a chat GPT for writing your email, to when you're using the same model to do some automation in some flow, the fundamental does not change, right? And I think that is the struggle for a lot of people that I've seen in the process, because suddenly the conversation of AI will go to automation. So suddenly the conversation of AI would go to AI can help with great strategies. Suddenly it will go to AI can help us write good essays and stuff like that. But then I think what I found as a missing piece is that people not really pausing and spending, okay, what is happening, like today I was in the morning, I was talking to one of the companies that we are training in a few weeks, and I was like, this 6 hours, everything else is fine, but then this will probably be the first 6 hours when they will pause and think about what is happening with AI as a technology, and how can I actually use it, because there's been a lot of reactive, like adaptation of it. But then, okay, just like pausing and thinking about it, that's something that I've seen missing as well. Because once we do that, then the technology, it's not rocket. I mean, like it's great technology, but then it's not evolving at a rate in which it is being actually narrated to.
hmm. But I think going back to the conversation of, for example, you mentioned training,
Yeah,
like the 6 hours training, right?
yeah.
I don't agree that that's the best way to train a team on AI.
I mean, like,
so so I follow a gentleman called Tom Goodwin, right?
okay,
And
okay.
then he wrote a LinkedIn post recently, is like, if your team needs training on AI,
Mhm.
they are probably the first ones to who are going to be replaced by AI.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, again, but then I think I would agree to that, but I think there is a lot. nuanced
What
conversation
I
with.
mean is,
Yeah,
my message to all of Alok Khatri's consulting clients, instead of paying this guy shitloads of money, just have an AI budget for all your employees. Give
yeah,
them, like loaded credit cards to spend on AI tools,
yeah,
and have them do a presentation at the end of 2 or 3 months, whatever, about
yeah,
what AI tools they explored and what they built using those AI tools.
yeah,
I think that will be a better, model of, because I tried that model actually. I gave kind of like virtual credit cards to like
yeah,
a few people on my senior leadership team.
yeah,
And today we were just having that conversation, like, what did you do with that?
yeah,
And the kind of work they showed me,
yeah,
like one of the senior employees at programming showed me,
yeah,
I was mind blown.
yeah,
So he bought Nano Banana Pro, like Gemini Pro, and used
yeah,
Nano Banana to
yeah.
generate
Uh,
superb. You would not trust the quality of the images. Like,
mm,
it's just
yeah.
insane, so realistic. I could not guess that it was AI.
Okay.
Right? He generated those images for a storefront. He created the entire storefront with V0.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, it was just crazy. Just
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
giving him AI, like some budget to play with.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I totally agree. Like and because when you were mentioning about this is not the last time it's going to change, and this is a change management issue. The entire conversation that we're having, when we're having the conversation, uh, the thing that was coming in my mind, and then it is pretty evident right now when we're working with people as well that it is about that core team or that team that can adapt, right? And that can adapt, can build fast, can understand the technology, and when they have multiple other change management processes, uh, that's probably going to be the best bet that those people are ready, right?
yeah,
Why I say it is a nuanced take is that when you look at a organization that has 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people, uh, the conversation around this totally changes. Now, let's say, for example, if you put yourself in the shoes of a board member of a 3,000 member organization, and then now you are looking at AI as a tech, and then you're almost there pressing the panic button. The change management issue becomes a lot more complex than a team that is operating at a 100 people, 150 people range, and that's the biggest challenge that we're addressing as well. And then if you see the organizations that we are focused on right now as well, that is more legacy organizations, and not really tech organizations, because legacy or like tech organizations, what you mentioned, credit cards, Nano Banana, and then N10, all these tools is very intuitive for them. But then when you look at legacy organizations, these things are not so intuitive. There has to be first layer of literacy, and also first layer of how this is moving, and then yes, and then probably there's going to be a time when, I mean, like, we also don't want to be at a time where we are consistently working with the same organization forever.
yeah.
I mean, even the half life of our engagement should not be more than a year, where we are working with that organization, because after that the team has to be set up, and they should be able to move. But also the core idea for us is not really upskilling people and then making it as a core business moving forward. We are also focused on building that, like the core infrastructure layer, where they can train themselves, they can build curriculums themselves, they can pick use cases from their organization and see how AI can be used, and all the concept, skills, nuances get attached to the proper statement, and that becomes a curriculum, right? And
I
then we don't.
actually, while you were talking,
Yeah,
kind of, and this is a definition that my co-founder Aswin gave me.
yeah,
And I think this is kind of, this combines his definition and kind of this $100 narrative.
yeah,
Is an
sure,
AI, maybe we can define an AI native person as someone who, given a virtual $100 card, knows exactly where
what to
that
that.
person is going to spend those $100.
Yeah, yeah. that
Right?
is that is a huge expertise. That is a huge expertise
That is a
in
huge
today's time.
expertise. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It needs a lot of, I think, up to that point, you need Alok.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then after that point you
Because
just need to
again,
spend that $100, like
yeah,
you need to force that person to spend that hundred
I agree.
dollars
Because there is obviously a like depreciating utility. It is going to happen, and then let's say when I started this work 2.5 years ago, uh, this is the only my mental frame that I had. Like, okay, I see Gen AI. Maybe there are 10 million people who probably will be uh, close to AI, know AI in some sense, but then we have like 3-4 billion people who are exposed to internet centric work in the world. They have to understand this, and that is a huge shift for the global population as such, which could be very trivial for the technical 20 10 20 million technical workforce that is there, but then it is very very complicated for the 3-4 billion people that are there, who are getting exposed to technology at such a breathtaking pace. And it was an hypothesis 2.5 years ago, but then as when we work, we see that to be a very very big problem. And then I totally agree. After one point, let's say, I can probably take example of one of our very champion learner in some sense, and also participant. His name is Amit sir. He's from Lakshmi Sunrise Bank. I think he falls that archetype. Like, like initially he needed some stuff, but then he's so self-regulated and so like he's so hungry to actually understand this technology. He's reaching that stage where you give him $100, he knows exactly where to spend and then build value for the organization very very fast. So I think like that's the bridge that we are trying to play as well.
Yep. Yep. And we are extremely behind because lack of easy access to credit cards
Yeah.
is such a huge like we should probably make this an agenda for the government is
Mhm.
if you do not make getting a credit card, and then obviously you already have a banks,
Yeah.
let's get all the CEOs of banks together in one room
Yeah.
and shout at them,
Yeah. It's
like
it's happening. It's happening. I'll send you an
it's
invite.
happening. Are you shouting
In 3 weeks time.
in 3 weeks time?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
please, like, I think the advice that when you shout,
Yeah.
what are you shout, like when you shout, if I was in your position, I would say, um stop being obsessed about stupid KPIs like accounts opened, and pressuring your employees to call their relatives to open accounts and all that, like
Mhm.
stop these stupid KPIs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
um People don't want to go inside the bank,
Mhm.
so outside every branch have a stall
Mhm.
that has big logos of Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify, I mean the consumer version of the $500 card, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like uh, it's not $500 virtual card. It's
Yeah.
Spotify, Netflix,
Yeah. Yeah.
access to these uh, uh, consumer tools, because people will not move to productivity tools before they have had that experience with consumer tools. It's a uh, so we have such a long way to go. People are buying all these consumer tools from uh, shady looking Instagram pages,
Yeah.
right? They are not getting the experience of self-serve
Yeah.
purchases in the digital world. We
Yeah.
are really pushing Nepal back, right?
Mhm.
So Nepalese banks need to take the initiative, say that we are going to make getting that $500 card
Yeah.
easier by putting the stall outside the bank, not inside,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Move the stall outside
Yeah.
and communicate the value very clearly. Like,
Yeah.
again, I don't know if it is copyright infringement to use the Netflix and Spotify
Yeah.
logos in a banner outside a bank, but
Mhm.
point being, make the message very palatable to people,
Yeah.
so that the $500 that's been per year that's been promised to every Nepalese citizen, uh, I ask people, why don't you take advantage of it? And people say it's just too much friction, right?
I think like one is access. Second is the willingness to pay as well. I think there is a big leap.
No, the number of shady Instagram pages selling Netflix and Spotify subscriptions,
Yeah.
I absolutely don't believe that narrative that there's no
Really?
appetite.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a huge appetite. The
Mhm.
banks have not done a good job of educating the customer and making it easy to get that $500. Why do I even need a physical card? Why can't I go to the mobile app and, in few clicks, transfer my money to kind of like,
Yeah.
like I load eSeva, right?
Yeah.
Why can't I have that $500 limit somewhere
Yeah.
and then transfer money to that bucket?
Yeah.
and then I know exactly till what date
Yeah.
that $500 limit exists,
Yeah.
right? And have like one click to show me the CVV and number and all of that.
Yeah.
And then it's essentially a debit card, not
Mhm.
a credit card.
Yeah.
So the risk is capped, right?
Yeah.
From the bank's perspective
Yeah.
or from the government's perspective.
Yeah.
So why are you being so silly about this? Why can't you just give me the card? People are anyways buying these cards from, again, it's also a risk, right? People are buying all these like from all these shady sources.
Yeah.
This is a And then the banks are loaded with dollars and cash, like, and they're saying people are not taking loans. Well, this is a loan in a way, right? Like you are just increasing the liquidity in the market by doing so. So I think our bank, and one bank can do it as a differentiator. I feel like this is such a huge. I don't understand why any bank in Nepal has not led with, uh, you know, I make getting a dollar card easy.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
just so simple to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
but still so complex.
Hmm.
And I
Okay.
saw this in action in India actually. When I was in Noida, the
Yeah.
Indian government kind of ran this campaign
Uh-huh.
where they said we will give a bank account to every Indian, right? And then the way they did this was, maybe they did some research into why Indians don't want to open bank accounts. Why are
Mhm.
they still operating on cash and all that?
Yeah.
Right? This is
Yeah.
pre UPI. This is
Yeah.
2014, and the insight was people find banks too fancy. They don't want to go inside a bank.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what the Indian government said is open stalls outside the bank.
Okay. Yeah.
Make it look so approachable. Make the banks look so approachable. I think there must have been like solid KPIs,
Yeah.
and it was just crazy. Like there was a aloo paratha place I used to go to for lunch, right? And then the owner is like, "I'm sorry, we don't have aloo paratha."
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, the guy has went to gone to open a bank account. Our all our cooks went to open a bank account." And I was like, "Yes, this is digital transformation, right?
Yeah.
This is true digital transformation,
Yeah.
not the fake kind that, like, not the fancy hanky panky digital transformation that we are talking about in Nepal, but real digital transformation where the bank comes to you, or
Yeah.
the financial institutions
Yeah.
make talking to a banker accessible, right?
Mhm.
Right now, again, imagine I was so afraid to go to banks for a long. Even now, I don't. When I go to bank, I'm like, I don't deserve to be here.
Okay.
I just don't like going to a bank.
Okay. No, I
Uh,
think like when I'm working with a lot of banks over here, I've realized two things. One, technically, banks actually do have a lot of acumen to actually build technology, deliver technology, and then create resources. But I think also our banks are a reflection of who we are as a society as well. And I think like this is a big differentiator between how we think as a society in general, and then how probably India is thinking right now, because uh, like they come, there are so many campaigns, even the banks over here are coming, like so some savings account, and then some scheme around.
so one of the banks sent me a message. They have a Gen Z savings account now.
Yeah.
What
No,
Gen Z
I mean, like
savings
it would
account?
be very interesting to understand what could have been the conversation around naming that account, like. So I think that generally is a reflection more of our society and less of
Yeah.
the banks, because
And stop wishing me happy birthday. Like give me some value.
but that's how we think as a society. That
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. But then in general, especially the A class banks here in Nepal, they actually do have a lot of ability to build very high class tech. And then especially now we've seen how banks in Nepal have adapted to different technology. And then like I found very interesting details around how they were a lot more advanced than other neighboring countries' banking systems at different points of time. But then I think we didn't probably adapt fast enough, and then probably comes down to the way we are as people, and then the mindsets that we have. But then, yeah, okay. But then the Gen Z saving up.
It's just
All right,
ridiculous.
all right, okay, great. Okay, very interesting. Uh, Okay, what else? What else? What did we miss for today? Today's
Mhm.
was another very different conversation.
Yeah, I think on the change management front, so what we did at Program Base is we wanted to go beyond AI. Let's get back to that conversation. So what we did is uh, we said, let's think about, let's take each team member,
Yeah,
and there's more to it, but I won't reveal all of it.
yeah, yeah,
I'll just reveal one part. Let's
yeah,
take each team member, and let's have them self judge themselves
yeah,
on four metrics:
yeah,
uh, celebration,
yeah,
competitiveness,
yeah.
relevancy,
Uh-huh.
competency, relevancy, uh, competitiveness, relevancy. What was the fourth one? Oh shit, man! I just delivered an entire uh, town hall meeting, telling everyone to drill these four.
It got drilled and came from the other side.
I think so. I think I've yeah. Sometimes this shit
This
happens,
happens.
right? Like when you've spent so much time on something that
Yeah,
you maybe my brain is so fried
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
talking about those concepts that it does not want to remember. Anyways,
yeah,
so let's just take one, right? Like
yeah,
relevancy, for example.
yeah,
It goes beyond AI. So what makes someone irrelevant today is that change today is AI.
yeah,
But really, if we have that management framework or change management framework where we are asking ourselves that question of are we relevant
yeah.
every 6 months,
Hmm.
it automatically creates a process where we are constantly benchmarking ourselves
Yeah,
as maybe as an organization, as individual people, as departments, as functions, right? You can really take something like a question of like are we relevant
yeah,
and apply it everywhere.
yeah,
And then today that changes, that something that might make us irrelevant is AI. Tomorrow it might be quantum, day after tomorrow it might be some regulatory change. But then I believe this is a great change management framework that goes beyond AI.
yeah,
And then we looked at, okay, are we competitive,
yeah,
right? That brings, like, relevant can be in isolation, but
yeah,
competitive means competition.
yeah,
So uh, are we reacting to the competition, or are we doing things to become better than the competition,
mhm, mhm,
right?
yeah,
Are we like I we especially put in celebration,
yeah,
because are we celebrating the wins?
yeah,
If you are not celebrating the wins,
mhm,
like for example, when you say we want to deploy AI, we want to upskill on AI, if we don't celebrate the upskilling,
yeah,
then people will not have the incentive to keep sharing their wins, right?
yeah,
So sometimes it's also a human value. It's not just about AI and technology, it's also about bringing that human value. Point being, you need to really think about these bigger change management rubrics that go beyond AI and that kind of help you react to every big change in the world,
yeah,
and constantly keep on collecting the NPS score, right?
yeah,
You can again use these frameworks as an individual, as a team, as a leadership, or you can use this on departments. But it's really thinking beyond AI and thinking from a change management lens is, how do we create the baseline,
yeah,
right? How do we use this framework to create a
yeah,
survey everyone, create a baseline, do some initiatives,
mhm,
and then after those initiatives are over, map the impact of those initiatives across these core themes,
mhm.
right? So you really have to be evidence based and like strategic with
Yeah.
this stuff.
I think like like bringing the like summarizing what you not summarizing like trying to draw something from what he said. uh, I think it's pretty much comes down to how fast you can adapt, what value you can build, and then how you can keep on operating from a mindset that you need to keep on providing value, and then you can keep on adapting through the process. And I think, why I think this is a big change is because the world that was pre AI did not have adaptation at such a high pace. So when the adaptation is not at such a high pace, like as human beings, we are We don't want to put a lot of intentional effort. Right now, there is no choice, and I think that is why these kind of conversations are coming to the mainstream. But then, I mean, like if things are going fine, like why do I want to do change management
Yeah.
as a process, right? So I think so. Right now, I think that is something that everyone is interested in. What I also see is that I think it is also important for a larger cohort community to move from the point of just like how are we interacting with these AI systems, and then what is the relation between humans and AI and stuff like that. Now that conversation has to get a bit more nuanced and see, okay, does it become a collaborator, does it become something that I can bring together with me, add value, is it something that changes the cognitive environment that I'm in, changes my organizations. Like there are very hard questions one has to answer,
Yeah.
and I think I definitely see some cute stuff happening on this front as well. we are,
Lots of cute stuff.
we are just talking about how AI is affecting and the relation that we're having and stuff like that.
So right now, my like most hated topic of panel discussion today is challenges and opportunities in Nepal startup ecosystem. That exact topic. I get invited to a panel with that exact topic every month, right?
What do you say?
And
What do you say though?
I don't go.
But how
It's
do you?
just so depressing. Like that topic is just so overused and so depressing, right? So that's the favorite topic of kind of the cute stuff people today.
Yeah,
uh, and I promise you this, after 6 months or 1 year,
yeah.
that favorite topic is going to be impact of AI on society. And
Okay.
you and I are both going to get invited to a panel with that exact topic every month.
Yeah.
So promise me that you're going to reject going to those panels, please.
I'm not gonna go. Like
Please.
I already don't go to a lot of stuff that I get to. No, but that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, like, I don't know. I think we are just used to this kind of things, and then I somewhere see these things so generically relevant. They're so generic that they can stay relevant. Like what are the opportunities of AI in today's time? Like you can just say whatever you want. Like what are the
Mm.
challenges of startup?
And
Startup
you can invite
challenges.
some random person into that panel.
Sorry.
You can invite some random person who has never done anything with AI into that panel, and still that person can say
No, it's the
speak
same
for
thing.
30.
Same thing with startup as well. Startup AI, same.
Bro, we are going in very dangerous territory. I think we don't want to make too many enemies.
No, it's okay. I
uh,
mean, like we need some virality to this.
no, but it's just ridiculous, right? I think this is one of the reasons why we realize that these conversations are necessary,
Yeah,
right? like,
yeah,
like when we talk when we had that conversation around what are the values,
yeah,
what is the mission for post AI nation,
yeah,
and we our war against this cute stuff
yeah,
that's stopping us from building the culture that's actually necessary to capture the AI opportunity,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Let's put the focus on the real stuff, the real
definitely,
conversations,
yeah,
the real people who
yeah,
are building real AI,
yeah,
and not doing wishy-washy stuff
yeah,
in
yeah,
the ecosystem. So this
yeah,
is like, yes, on the one hand, this is kind of like funny, but it's
yeah,
also not funny at the same time.
yeah. No, I mean, like it has to. It has to be funny for it to transcend. I mean, like the amount
Uh,
of amount of hate that we got recently on TikTok is crazy.
it's
Like
okay. It's okay. I'm
it's
not on TikTok, so I didn't get to see it. So it's okay.
I mean, like it's funny as well. Like when you detach to those kind of things, it just becomes yeah. But then again, with these kind of things, it's more of like, um, it's just a shift. Like again, so much of effort is being put into those kind of things of like challenges and opportunity and stuff like that. But then I think a lot of potential is being wasted, and I think that is something that we cannot afford in general in a country like Nepal. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think like it's great. Okay. Awesome. Anything else for today?
No, I think today's we've already made enough enemies today, but I think I really like today's conversation. I think
Yeah,
it came at the right time when I was obviously introspecting about the future of program is, and the future of coding and AI, and like I was going through these emotions myself.
Yeah.
uh,
I
and,
think
and
I want to sorry to cut you off. Just on the programmer's future, like there's something that I just want to add, because we recently recently did that small partnership, and then we took programmers to where we are upskilling. And I'll just give you an example. So there is a problem that is being solved with, let's say, clustering as a technique, and then so the non-technical people are solving it with clustering. Non-technical people are creating personas, right? So they're creating different kinds of personas. Technical people are creating those clusters. Now, when these two people are solving the same problem, one making very logical kind of personas, and the second code doing these things with clustering. Once we expose the ideas behind this technology, behind this
Mhm.
technique to the non-technical cohorts, their understanding suddenly went very forward. Like initially they were just thinking about personas. Okay, this is the logic, this is how I can create these kind of things. But then once they understood the details of clustering, the mathematics behind it, how does the algorithm runs, the nearest neighbor, the
Yes.
centroids, the midpoints. So once that thing came into picture, oh, they were like, oh, this is how the personas can be created, this is how we can understand the data, this is how we can make groups out of it. So I think just on the code explainer part of programmers, I think there is tremendous value, just like just to enable a lot of non-technical people to really understand the ins and outs of the technology. So sorry to cut you, but then this was very relevant.
100%. No, 100%. And I cannot reveal too much, but really the new direction of programming is going to be super exciting.
Yeah.
We are thinking along lines that are very close to how you are thinking.
Okay.
Is um the curriculum for coding is like data. You teach data types, then you teach control flows,
Yeah.
and there's a certain rigid curriculum that's been the same for 20 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the really the first time that curriculum has been challenged to this
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
And what is that new curriculum that educates people on getting data ready for AI?
Yeah.
And then once the AI prompt has done the business stuff,
Yeah.
getting it outside and then showing it to the user,
Yeah.
and then adding business value, right?
Yeah.
But then you still need to build the wiring, as I said, right? The API,
Yeah.
the deployment. So that's just one layer,
Yeah.
which is like business prompt as business layer or business logic. That is a very small layer if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
There's so much, right? Cybersecurity,
Yeah.
DevOps, reliability,
Mhm.
user experience.
Yeah.
So all the technologies that we have been rushing to call legacy are not really legacy.
Yeah.
There will still be a huge opportunity for software developers who know how to deploy AI in the right way.
Yeah.
And yeah, AI is just a tool that solves a certain class of problems
Yeah.
in a better way than traditional.
Yeah.
I would not even say traditional, right? Like
I think it's
deterministic. I would say deterministic code based flows.
yeah.
So there are certain problems that are solved better when the business logic is encapsulated in plain English.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are hundreds and thousands of other flows
Yeah.
that you don't want to be spending a token of open AI
Yeah.
to solve, right? Because
Yeah.
those flows are deterministic. They have to
I agree.
do the same thing for every data point.
Yeah.
Anyways, it just depends on the scale.
Yeah.
And that's why I said AI leadership is closer to strategic leadership, because
Yeah.
it's about these decisions, right? Like finding the optimal solution,
Yeah.
experimenting, failing,
Yeah.
being creative.
Yeah.
uh, Anyways, and to come back to your point of um, what does the new curriculum of AI look like for non-technical people,
Yeah.
right? For example, someone who understands k-means clustering,
Yeah.
uh, and just enough mathematics to understand, to be able to identify when k-means clustering is the best way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone who understands standard deviation, but understands it not from the, this is the ratio of this and that,
Yeah.
but understands it from, if you go to if you are working with a normal distribution, which is like x pattern,
Yes.
and if you go to standard deviations from the mean, then you are kind of cutting out this percentage of the data, right?
Yeah.
That means and then like standard deviation as the spread of the data.
Yeah.
So almost like what and collaborate an algorithm like collaborative filtering, like
Yeah.
for example, that kind of finds instead of finding Spotify, which Spotify uses
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
recommend you to the next song,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which takes a different approach at recommendations.
Hmm.
So what are these tools which you would not know how to prompt
Yeah.
using these tools?
Yeah.
So you need to be pre-aware of these concepts.
Yeah.
But then
That's where, sorry to cut you off again. That's where the other big problem of curriculum in post AI world is. One is one, as you mentioned, is the curriculum is getting shaken. The other is the understanding of prior knowledge that is getting shaken, right? So on a traditional sense, you are going through a process, you are studying some mathematical concepts, and then you are doing some engineering and then computer science and stuff like that, and then you're building on that stack, right? But now if I don't come from an engineering background, now let's say if I come from a BBA background, I'm using an AI tool, and then I encounter k-means clustering as a concept. Now my prior knowledge, I don't have the foundation of that prior knowledge, and that's probably why we bank so much on the problem based learning as a pedagogical framework for the post AI world, because we can't give all the prior knowledge for them to get exposed to, for them to be able to execute something. It has to get stitched somehow in some form that will be very personally logical for the person itself, and probably won't be relevant for anyone else as well, because as I mentioned, if I'm a business graduate, I encounter clustering and I don't have any foundation on that, what happens to me is a big question as well, right?
and I think the bigger problem isn't the technical barrier of for a BBA or bachelor's in business to administration student to came to learning came means clustering.
Yeah.
It's the fear that I'm not technical enough to learn this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like heavy, like complicated science. You can actually learn it.
But
Uh,
then they don't know it. They feel like it's like super geeky stuff that engineers are supposed to learn, and they are
also,
supposed to build
also,
for me, right?
also probably the connection of the dots probably won't be so obvious. Let's say for example, the like person coming from a technical background would have a lot of different kinds of frames that they can connect the dots to, like, algorithmic in the sense of algorithmic thinking. But then uh, yes, uh, they can find the issue, but then they can find the concepts, learn it, and obviously the first barrier is definitely fear. But then uh, when they have to connect the different dots while solving a problem, I think that is another issue that they would definitely encounter while engaging with these kind of tools.
Yep. And then there was a time when I was teaching at King's. I was teaching a topic called subject called Advanced Marketing Analytics,
Yeah,
which was an AI course. So I did not know that. So that's why I know bag of words, collaborative field, all these algorithms, because I had to teach them and I did not know them. But the way I taught them was every morning I would go to downstairs the staff room.
yeah, yeah,
I would take six chart papers,
yeah,
and then I would have them like with hand, uh, do the algorithm on paper,
yeah.
on the chart paper as a group.
Okay, okay.
And I believe that built, that kind of like tactile experience
Hmm.
is much better way of pre-aware training that we talked about, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
they don't need to remember how the collaborative filtering exactly works,
yeah,
but they need to remember to the point where Spotify does not recommend you the next song by looking at the songs you've already listened to.
hmm,
It finds someone who is very similar to you in
yeah,
the music taste,
yeah,
finds a song that they have liked but you haven't listened to,
yeah,
and just having that story, right? Like that this is one way to recommend the next best
yeah,
course or next best song
yeah,
or next best video for someone,
yeah,
uh, that this is also an option. I especially when I have limited data on that person, this can be very good that I can find the lookalike of this person or the
yeah,
closest neighbor of this person
yeah, yeah,
who has the same taste.
yeah,
I can find the song that this person has liked, that this person has not discovered, and
mhm,
surface it to them.
yeah,
And then if they don't like it, maybe I realize that Puneet is not so as close to Alok as I thought, right?
yeah,
In terms of persona.
yeah,
So really, that knowledge, foundational knowledge, and having that tactile experience of having played with those algorithms.
yeah.
I don't know how much they remember, but that was my goal when I went into classes. If they remember only this much,
yeah,
They remember Spotify when like and the next music recommendation, and the idea that you don't really you can find a lookalike person and
yeah,
then have that roundabout way of figuring things out. Anyways, point being, that subject really taught me a lot, and
yeah.
almost I want to go back and teach that subject again,
Okay.
maybe.
You reminded me of a professor that we used to have. I mean, I think right now he's probably like I would term him as maybe a genius. At that point of time, he enters an engineering college first semester. The semester class, he's like, I also don't know this subject. You also don't know this subject. Let's learn this together.
Love it, love it. I think most professors should come to class with that mindset, right?
Yeah,
Even if they've been teaching the subject for 20 years,
yeah, yeah,
like like for example, let's say a marketing professor,
yeah,
uh when they start their new course in 2026,
yeah.
they don't know what marketing should look like in
Yes,
2026.
exactly,
So
exactly.
in a way, they have to come with that student mindset,
Yeah,
that we are going to learn together, and maybe like I talked about, I remember the fourth one. It's usefulness. Anyways, maybe the young whippersnappers that they're teaching,
yeah,
they are more relevant, they are more competitive, they are more useful, and they are more celebratory than me. Right? I'm old. Like
yeah,
I am from. I'm a dinosaur. Right? So I think you really have to go into trainings and lectures with a student mindset.
yeah,
I
yeah,
really like that example. You don't know anything, I don't know anything. Let's learn together. I think if every class started that way, I think the learning outcomes from colleges would be so much better.
yeah,
The professors come to class with so much ego.
yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, and then probably the time when that won't work for sure.
That time is not very far.
Yeah, yeah, that won't. Yeah, amazing. Anything else
What? No, no, no. We need to end. We need to end, Alok.
before we get into trouble?
Before we both get into trouble, I think.
All right,
Uh,
I think it was great. I think again this is what I was missing as well in the last chat. So thank you so much for coming back.
no, it's my pleasure.
Yeah,
Always a pleasure talking to you, Alok.
yeah, yeah,
Always. Like, it's always
definitely.
a podcast. Whether we have the mic rolling or not, it's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
a podcast with you.
Like just last, I think you know this guy called Justin Khan, right? This
Dude, stop the podcast already.
Oh, I didn't stop. Oh, no, no. No, this guy Justin Khan, like when he was building Twitch, I think like he had a camera on his head all the time, and he was live streaming everything. I think we can get to that level when with our conversation and podcast.
Maybe, or maybe not. That's an idea.
I mean, like we talk pretty filtered stuff here on the podcast.
Mhm.
Outside is not going to be very very pleasant. Okay, we stop here. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.